Thank you, everyone. I'm impressed that you're here. I'm impressed that I'm here, and it's a great occasion to all arrive at together, I have to say. Your actions bring this campaign to life. It's really about community work, what happens locally, what happens in your schools, what happens in your offices, what happens in your towns. Advocates, survivors, civic leaders, students, teachers, fathers, coaches, allies, all. We all have a role to play, and this campaign's work is to highlight those roles, so you all know the power individually that we have and collectively together. I'm delighted to be here with you. I especially want to appreciate the youth that are here today. You can measure how young youth is or how old youth is by your own definition, but there's a crowd here today, and I really appreciate those of you that are here. And I have some shout-out cards that I will be reading from as the program progresses to identify some folks here, but you may not know exactly why you're here. Someone may have brought you here, but you will have an experience in store for you today, one I expect to be thoughtful, inspiring, and entertaining at the same time. I'm delighted that you're all to be here with you. So my job is the Men's Initiative Coordinator for the Jane Doe, Inc., and to coordinate and direct the White Ribbon Day campaign. Today is White Ribbon Day for Massachusetts. Woo. And what not everyone quite understands is the way we're trying to frame this is that you all get to have your own White Ribbon Days as well in your own localities. That it's something you can frame and measure and announce in your own time, in your own place, in your own location. The frame of a school, the frame of a town, the frame of a business, that is your White Ribbon Day. So we have a White Ribbon Day campaign where it all comes together in a moment like this, where we have leadership primarily in the room, where you can feel that we are a community doing this together. That's the idea. It's set now for the first Thursday in March. Maybe it's the first snow of the year that we'll get to call it from now on. But it is the first Thursday in March. Next year will be March 6th. It's going to progress that direction, I think. March is also Women's History Month, I want to mention. And tomorrow is March 8th, which is International Women's Day. Every year there's events. This past week there's events tomorrow. There will be events around that day that have been for years and years, way before our campaign started. It has been something that's held the cause of human rights internationally for women across the globe. And I appreciate this being connected with that this time around. It really means a lot to me that it's true. So it's wonderful to be connected with International Women's Day. We have a lot to accomplish in this campaign, and the future is very promising for us. We have 500 campaign ambassadors, individual men who have joined the campaign since 2008. About 230 or 40 are listed on the website. This is a listing, means the 3-year range that ambassadors join, they will be active. And we keep men on the list forever until they say, please take me off the list. But we try to keep people engaged as much as we can, and there are over 500 men who are. I think that's really impressive for me. There are 75 community organizations. Many of you are here. I have quite a stack of cards and shout-outs to groups that are attending today. That there are more than 30 plus, probably twice that many, local events are taking place either this week, weeks before, or weeks after. I'll say a few words about that later in the program. But we are powerful together, connecting men and boys ready to help healthy masculinity. Well, it's by example, so I hope the panel today gives us some of those examples. But the narrative we want, to write a new narrative, a story. I'd like to think of us as we tell ourselves a story of who we are and who we will be, and as we rise to become. And that narrative, really, our new narrative, our additional narrative, has no violence in it in the future. But its strength, creative spirit, and striving for excellence all remain. It needs to be said that establishing new social standards in this way is a long-term proposition, one that will have its times of revolution, which will be exciting in moments that have creative spirit and we all are connected. But day to day, year after year, this is about multiple generations of time. Fathers teaching their sons, coaches coaching their players, civic and cultural leaders sounding the call every year. We will live the change we want to see. It's a very famous saying, to be the change we want to see. But we will then get to see the change we want to have around us as we live this. So let me say a couple more words, and then we'll get to introduce the next speaker. I want to say a word about the artists in our world. Some of you probably are artists, some of you probably do some of that work, and we want to extend a vision and an invitation to artists among our midst. We need your expressions about what we are here for today. What's the inspiration? If you're a poet, we need your poetry about this. If you're a musician, we need your music and your song about this. If you're a visual artist, we need to see your expressions of our dream. This helps. This moves our culture along. Capture this feeling and give this voice to this passion and expression. So a challenge, and I hope we see much of this as the future goes on. We can be very, very proud about what we express here together today, about positive manhood, a positive natural sense of masculinity's plural. Men are truly ready to help as fathers, sports coaches, business mentors, civic leaders, educators, marriage partners, as friends. In each and one of our roles, there's something we can do to help end male violence against women and promote healthy masculinity and end and change the nature of homophobia, which is one of the roots of our dynamic. So thank you for letting me give some welcoming comments. And now I have the distinct pleasure to introduce Commissioner Angela McLean. To my far left. Commissioner McLean served as the White Ribbon Day co-chair last year with Paulo Pinto. Paulo's in the room. Paulo, shout out to Paulo. The two of you, we have to demonstrate some things together perhaps. We had a wonderful year with the two of you this past year. Paulo is the director of MAPS, the Portuguese Alliance of Portuguese Speakers. They both continue to be active bystanders for the campaign and active ambassadors for the campaign. Commissioner McLean is always willing to listen to the needs of domestic violence programs that are funded through DCF. He's the commissioner of DCF, Department of Children and Families for the state, to the stories of victims and their children in need of services and support. We're delighted that Commissioner Angela McLean is here with us today to represent the governor's administration.